it really opens up your eyes to what the mission is. Oh my God. All the motivations, all the challenges. Here I am now I'm gone, then I come and I go. Slow down and can even be happy doing almost absolutely nothing. Let's just wander through the streets and see where they take us. There's a deep faith. They are not here to make you feel better. Nope. Sometimes I do a reading and it really is meant to change my client's life, and it changes mine. So I did this beautiful reading for this beautiful, beautiful human being. She has a YouTube channel called Soul Haven Pottery. Look at these earrings that she just sent me. She made them, and they're little crescent moons with this gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous design. And she just sent me these in the mail. So I decided to wear them with my beautiful blue top here. I wanted you guys all to go check out her incredible work that she does. You can find her on YouTube at Soul Haven Pottery. She is just so talented. She's also an emergency room nurse, and she's been doing that her whole life. So that is a very difficult job, but she is so inspiring, and her name is Starlin. So let's get into the video that I am giving you today, because it is a giant gift for you. I am finishing, or continuing, I should say, my composite series. And if you don't know about the composite chart, I really recommend that you go watch all of my videos on the composite chart, because today we're going to talk about the composite rising sign. You can only know your composite rising sign if you know the birth time of both people involved in the relationship. So a composite chart is the midway point, the halfway point between me and you. And we take the halfway point between all of our planets and our rising sign. And when you understand the composite rising sign, that is basically the rising sign of the relationship. It's not going to be your rising sign or their rising sign. It is the midpoint. I'll show it to you with my aspect finder. Do you guys all have your aspect finders? I just bought 50 of them. They are flying off the shelf. I cannot keep these in my shop because it is a hard product that I actually physically mail to you, and I don't like going to the post office. Let's say you are a Taurus and I am a Scorpio. Well, the halfway point between Taurus and Scorpio is most likely going to be Leo. And so we have, let's say that's our rising sign. I have a Taurus rising, you have a Scorpio rising. Well, together we might have a Leo rising. And so Leo rising is definitely not like Scorpio, and it's not like Taurus, but together our alchemy, our chemistry creates Leo rising. And now the way that our relationship, our partnership together approaches new situations or problems is very different than how we would do that individually. And how you approach life in unison can be very, very different than with your partner than how you approach life on your own. And so it's really exciting to see the difference, to see what this relationship actually brings forth, grows out of you. This rising sign, this composite rising sign, is going to be so interesting and so fascinating for you to know about all of your relationships. So what rising sign do you and your mom create? What rising sign do you and your dad create? You and your ex-lover, you and your ex-husband, you and your ex-wife, you and your ex-partner, you and your fiance, you and your new relationship, you and your child, right? You and your favorite person in the world. Heck, you can even look at you and, the Dalai Lama and see what kind of face do the two of you wear collectively together. This is the feeling and the impression that others get when they first meet you as a couple. This is how you say hello to the world as a couple. And I want to go a little bit deeper with this for my advanced listeners, okay? If you're not an advanced listener, just keep listening, but I won't keep it this advanced. I want you to see if that rising sign goes well with your sun, your moon, your Mars, your Venus, your Mercury, or your rising sign. Because if your composite rising sign doesn't go with anything in your natal chart, if it doesn't create harmony, if it doesn't create ease, this relationship could be kind of hard for you to get off the ground or to stand confidently in. And if your composite rising sign goes well with different parts of your chart, it can bring ease and delight and joy and jubilance. And so it's really important to know the different relationships that you have by composite. I'll go into other tools that you can buy in my shop to help you understand this more deeply. But once you understand your relationship through the lens of the composite chart, oh my God, you start to understand all the motivations, all the challenges, and all the inspiration inside your relationship in a whole new, impactful way that can create deep empathy, sympathy, and compassion for your partnership. If you're wondering why some partnerships are really freaking hard and others are really freaking easy, we'll go look at the rising sign in your composite chart and see what that does with your own natal chart. Okay, we're going to dive into it deeply. This is going to be so exciting. This is a little bit advanced, but that's what we're doing here at Soul Navigation. We are teaching you the advanced things. We are teaching you that we go way beyond sun sign astrology. If all you know about me is I'm a Virgo, which by the way, I'm not, but if all you know about me is I'm a Virgo, I'm telling you right now, you don't know much about me. So you need to know also, what are the two of us creating? What kind of energy? And did you guys watch my composite moon sign by house? That was so deep. I gave you so much information. That was a really long video. And I also went into composite sun signs. So I hope you guys are liking this series. There's tons to learn. So stick with me and listen for all the different rising signs. Also, I want to invite you to listen to your natal rising sign in this video and also your other person's natal rising sign along with your composite rising sign. So let's dive in. So your rising sign is going to make the first impression on others about your partnership with this person. Let's say you have a 15-year-old son and you and your son are, I don't know, standing in line at Disneyland. Well, all those people that are looking at you are seeing his rising sign, your rising sign, and then they're seeing the partnership inside of you. And that has a whole different face. So does it look like you guys enjoy each other, or does it look like you guys are irritated with one another, right? And when they interact with you, they're interacting with the composite rising sign. And you are creating an impression, a statement about the two of you inside partnership. And so it's really fascinating to learn what those statements are. And I am going to go through all 12 signs in this video. Your composite rising sign can be really different than your own rising sign, and it can be for better or for worse. But much of it depends on how different or similar your individual rising sign is from your composite rising sign. And your composite rising sign may feel awkward or it may feel comfortable. It may make you feel confident and it may make you feel proud, or it may make you feel confused. When you're dealing with the world as a couple, it's a very different energy than when you're dealing with the world as an individual. And how natural it feels with dealing with the world as a partner depends on your composite rising sign and how it feels. So composite Aries rising, together the two of you are ready to literally conquer the world. This is the pioneer archetype. And if you have this, I highly recommend that you watch my entire Aries playlist. So you will appear as a couple to be brave and bold and take risks. And you don't back down. You don't shy away from challenges. You might find that your image as a couple is strong and it is important. And you guys come across as very confident. You come across sort of walking your talk and talking your walk. I don't know, is that a thing? But anyways, you want to make an impression on the world with your appearance and your actions And even your bravery, there's a camaraderie between the two of you where you guys don't take offense easily with each other. You have very thick skin. This is kind of the couple that can, if this is romantic, either bicker or put each other down for play. I don't know if you've ever been around those types of people. I definitely don't have this rising sign, I don't think, with anybody, but it's kind of like the cut downs, right? And then they laugh it all off and they find it hilarious. I don't know why, but there's a competitive jousting between the two that invite other people to throw them shit or banter or just have playful, competitive little, I don't know, I'm better than you, your mama, whatever. Those kinds of jokes that are a little bit off color, take a little bit of courage to say. This is also the couple that just lays it out there and they pretty much up front say what they think. They are very unfiltered. You must go look at Mars, composite Mars in the chart. Also look at your natal Mars and their natal Mars and see if your Mars sign goes well with this Aries rising and goes well. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please go watch my video on aspects. I have a whole series on aspects so you can understand which signs go well with other signs. I hope you already know that, but if you don't, it's really important that you do. Just a little shortcut, a little tease: fire signs like fire signs and air signs, water signs like water signs and earth signs, air signs like air signs and fire signs, and earth signs like earth signs, and they also like water signs. But if you need more than that, I want you to explore those videos on my channel. This couple is seriously going to do like the mud runner together. You might not do the mud runner or a marathon by yourself. You might not even go lift weights, but this couple likes doing physical activities and exercise together. Tell me if you have this in your composite chart with somebody in your life and who is that person, and do you find this rising sign refreshing? I find Aries energy super refreshing. They take the guesswork out of anything. You are not confused. They're very sharp-tongued and they tell you what it is that they feel. If you have this as your rising sign, you probably feel like it's more comfortable facing your fears and challenges together inside this relationship than it does alone. You might feel like, oh my gosh, I would never go bungee jumping, but my partner makes me want to. So I do. Composite Taurus Rising. As a couple, you appear reliable and steady and patient and careful and calm together. You meet the world with sort of a determination and kind of a cautious manner. There's a little bit of a graciousness here. There's a slow, calculated methodology to this relationship. There is always keeping their eye on long-term goals because they like to build their empire, their structures, their life slowly over the course of time. And when they deal with the world, they usually have a grace and a beauty about them. This couple usually makes more conservative decisions that will help sustain the relationship or the partnership rather than, big old giant bursts of balls of flame, fiery, risk-taking Aries adventures. Taurus is methodical and the slow builder. We got the tortoise and the hare, and this is definitely the tortoise. There's also a desire for this couple to want to spend alone time together, walking on the beach in silence, not talking, cooking together, doing wine tasting, growing things together, children, a business, a garden, a home, right? Building anything together. There's a deep sensual and a very sexual bond for those who are in a romantic relationship. In platonic relationships, there's a need to connect in the simple pleasures of life to find happiness. This is sort of like the sweet sauce on the chicken, right? This is the marinade for the steak. This is the make everything extra yummy if you're Taurus rising. Now, you really need to look and see what Taurus rising does to your natal chart. So one of the things I recommend that you do is that you get a composite bi-wheel or a composite tri-wheel. And we offer those in our shop at shopsoulnavigation.com, and it puts your composite chart with their natal chart, with your natal chart all together so you can see how the composite chart interacts with both your chart or their chart. It's a really wonderful package. If you can read a tri-wheel, if you can't, then I recommend that you get the Composite Bi-Wheel Package. And that's your composite chart with their natal chart, and then your composite chart with their natal chart. So you would get 2 bi-wheels. So you could understand the relationship, how your relationship affects both of you in a bi-wheel. So those are great products to get if you want to go deeper into understanding the composite charts. Let's talk about composite Gemini Rising. As a couple, you appear as the fountain of youths, and you probably will live a very long lifetime because there's a nimbleness and agility and a curiosity. There is a youthfulness, and there is a lot of activity, busyness, and action. I always think of Gemini as the mosaic and collecting little tile pieces, doing lots of different things and having a lot of variety because these are the curious people. So your relationship together creates curiosity and you seek answers. And I would say like the generator of your chart is having curious minds. You move through the world with a lot of thought and a lot of inquisitiveness, I should say, learning together, teaching together, exploring together, and you probably communicate with ease and wit. And I'll also tell you, I think that this is the couple that leads with humor and that can be really friggin' funny. Super, super flippin' funny. Like a high wit, a banter. You can finish each other's sentences. You can do karaoke together. You probably sing together, play in a band together. Maybe you play garage band. I don't know, but you might do a lot of singing, talking, dancing, movement together. I'll also say that a Gemini composite rising usually approaches life with an open mind. And I will say that this couple can get really easily bored with other friends, especially if they can't keep up with the intellectualism, the stimulation, and they kind of think the rest of the world is a little bit boring, just to be honest. They love exploring and traveling through nearby communities, little day trips and adventures. Like I said, there is a non-judgmental approach to life and living with other relationships and other people in the world. And they vibrate with like a buzz, a hum, a excitement. Other people probably envy your activities, your ability to both communicate so well and explore ideas and your intelligence. And you guys might be going to school together, learning in classes together. Maybe you guys are taking a cooking class or a pottery class or taking, I don't know, a physics class or studying astronomy or astrology. But I think other people really envy that you guys have this little, pop, pop, pop connection. There's a huge happiness factor here. And this is a couple that likes to approach life through an active mind and through activity, dancing your way through life. You really need to know where Mercury is in the composite chart, and also is your Mercury in a harmonious sign to Gemini rising in the composite chart. You'll figure that out in your bi-wheels. So let's talk about composite Cancer rising. Together, this is a couple that appears very sensitive, caring, cautious, thoughtful. You might open up your home to the people that you love, and they feel the love and the warmth inside your home. You love love, and as a couple, you also lead with love. Not for everybody, but for those few people that you cherish. You cherish and invest your whole heart into your relationships and your family and those who you love deeply. I like this rising sign because you take time out, you recharge your batteries together, you slow down, and can even be happy doing almost absolutely nothing together. Sitting still with one another is one of your favorite things. Maybe watching a movie, being at home, building a beautiful sanctuary for others to be invited into would be one of your favorite things. And you would also approach life through a lens of security. Is this safe for us to do? Not safe for us to do? Do we want to build security? Will this create security for us? Also, I will say that you don't leave anything to chance. And you are the caretaker couple that takes in the stray cats, and people with this rising sign, couples or partnerships with this rising sign, have to be careful to not be taken advantage of, because you'll probably learn this part the hard way. Building, nurturing, growing, healing, loving are all the themes for each other, for others, and for the world around them, including animals and plants. You got to go look at the moon in your composite chart because that is the boss, that is the generator, that is the energy driver of your whole entire chart. And that moon sign is that moon sign in harmony with your Cancer rising. So if that moon is in Pisces or Scorpio or an earth sign, it is in a harmonious place to your rising sign, with the exception of dun 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 Capricorn, right? Because that's an opposition. Composite Leo rising. How fun is this? This couple is super charming, very complimentary of themselves as a couple and of others. They approach life and love very creatively. They're outgoing. There's usually an extroverted quality. It depends, though, on the sun in the composite chart. So if you have the sun in the 8th house, this is going to be muted. If you have the sun in the 12th house, this is going to become a little bit more introverted and quiet. If you have the sun in the 4th house, this also will become a little bit more shy. Other than that, I will say that this composite Leo rising has a little bit of a splash, a little bit of a flash, a little bit of an easy charm and disarming personality. This couple approaches life with creativity, optimism, and with a mission to get life on their own terms. They like having their way. They have an ease with winning people, situations, and circumstances over. These are the people that might try to sneak into the concert or talk their way through the bouncer to get into the bar, or be able to get the karaoke lineup to pick them first. These people really do have a lot of charm and influence in their world, and they lead with believing in themselves. They like each other, and they like to create fun and joy, and fun and games and merriment is the name of their game. They're like two big kids, if you will. They love to socialize, and they probably have a very active social life, an active social calendar. You're probably trying to get on their social calendar. And there's usually an outgoingness, a gregariousness, a happiness, and a generosity. They usually show up with gifts of their good attitude, their energy, their joy, their happiness. And they like seeing the best in people, the best in situations. They are generous with their compliments, and people see you with a sense of style, a sense of pizzazz, and even a little razzle dazzle. Style is kind of important to this couple, and they usually appear attractive. Even if they're not physically attractive, they appear attractive and stylish, and I don't know, there's a cuteness about this couple, and they probably express themselves creatively and are a little bit on the bolder side of their creative expression, and they take risks, and they take creative risks. They're not always flashy. It depends where the sun is at in the chart, because the sun in the composite chart is the generator, and you want to see if your sun sign and their sun sign goes well with the composite rising sign. So if they're an Aries and you're a Sag and you guys have a composite Leo rising, well, you both really love this relationship, and that ease creates compatibility. And if you guys want a reading, just click the description below and you can book a reading with myself or with Connie Jo or Stacy, who work on my team, and we would love to help you read your composite chart. Because once you understand your relationship through the composite chart, it really opens up your eyes to what the mission is between the two of you. And the mission here is to lead with love and joy and creativity, and to become authentically self-expressed, unafraid to throw yourself into the world. And every fresh start requires courage and a boldness to be unabashedly unafraid to be truly you. There's a regalness here also. There's a certain something about this couple. They are also leaders. They're probably leaders in their friendship group. They kind of have a little bit of a power couple pizzazz. And they might even perform together. You might have met on stage, or you might have met, singing or dancing or throwing pots on the wheel. You might have this creative style, or you might have played a game together. Maybe it's a football player and a cheerleader, or maybe it's somebody who, you played pickleball with, something like that, like games. I will say this couple usually has a sense of pride about themselves. They usually have great posture, high style, and they take on or cultivate or have a desire to take on or cultivate the good life. Yeah, they are connoisseurs of the good life and what that means. So they might show up in the fancy car, wearing the fancy outfit, not always, but oftentimes, especially if their sun is in the 5th house or the 10th house or the 7th house or the 2nd house. You'll see how this plays out more specifically when you know where your composite sun is. So I hope you watched that video where I talked a lot about the meaning of the composite sun in the chart. Okay, composite Virgo rising is an honest, earnest, high integrity rising sign. Those are usually the qualities that people first recognize or see inside this relationship. They usually come from a place of sincerity, and they usually have a very big box of resourcefulness collectively. And they usually have a set of skills that they utilize, count on, and that put other couples to shame. They are pragmatic, they are reliable, and they are level-headed and usually very reasonable. And these people get through life because they are a highly intelligent couple and they maximize their resources. They can be frugal and they can do a lot with what little they may have. This is the resourceful couple. And although you are social as a couple, you are not necessarily super outgoing or as lively as, say, a Leo rising couple. Rather, you might appear a little bit more relaxed, comfortable, approachable. Natural is a word that I would use. You start every conversation with just a sense of authentic sincerity, with maybe grace. The Virgo rising creates good manners. People will find you probably as a couple inside your partnership kind and helpful, which is really quite lovely in today's world, isn't it? Together, you can be observers of the world and enjoy critiquing it, if you will, enjoy dissecting and discerning, what's good, what's bad, what's average. You can be very careful with money and you pride yourselves on the ability to make, save, and spend your money and your resources really, really wisely. If you are a romantic couple or a team, if you will, you usually recognize that your skill sets are vastly different, but combined, they make you magnificently capable and much more capable together than perhaps individually. And as a couple, you really do take on serving others well. You're really good at planning, preparing. You're good at planning the parties, and being the host and hostess. This is kind of the quintessential host and hostess, because you're not afraid of working the event from start to finish, behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, greeting people, making people feel comfortable, cooking, doing it all. I mean, this is the couple that really can take it all on. And you really are quite good at making other people feel listened to and feel heard. Oftentimes, this is a couple that is invited to be on boards or committees or chair events or run the auction or the school board, and they need to learn how to say no to the endless invitations where others want them to serve, right? Like, no, I don't want to do the cookie drive and the cake bake and the cake walk, and I don't want to take that on. No, thank you. We need to look and see where Mercury is at in the composite chart, because this is the planet of communication. And not only does Mercury rule Gemini, it also rules Virgo. But I know you know that, right? So Mercury is going to show us how you guys think, speak, communicate, and even listen. And where it's at is very important. Where it's at in the composite chart. Also go and look in your own chart, in your own natal chart, and in their natal chart. Is their Mercury and is your Mercury in a place that works well with Virgo rising energy? That's my question for you. So you will have to let me know. For example, if Mercury is in Capricorn, this makes this couple very keen on ambition, building a business, and highly analytical, pragmatic, practical, and a great financial, I should probably say, and great financial wizards, if you will. With Virgo rising in the composite chart, you probably are a couple that works really well together, where you can divvy up the daily chores, or you can divvy up the duties on whatever event or thing you are tackling. And you're usually very happy if you succeed at finding the kind of work that is very meaningful for you as a couple or inside partnership. That's work that supports the union, work that supports the partnership. So if this is a mother-daughter, like me and my daughter, we don't have this, and I find a job that takes me away from her, that is really going to put a lot of stress and strain on the Virgo rising part of our chart, because it takes us away from each other's daily lives. And Virgo rising likes being together in a daily routined way. They don't like a lot of spontaneity, unpredictability. Here I am now I'm gone, then I come and I go, up and down, roller coaster. No, they kind of like it to be even keel and not a lot of drama. You won't see a lot of drama with this relationship. And there is also a desire to keep the relationship kind of steady on a daily basis. They build their relationship and they create new beginnings step by step by step by step. They don't try to jump to the ending, not usually. They like having a common goal inside the relationship or just inside the activity or the mission, and then both contributing to that goal. Okay, let's talk a little bit about composite Libra rising. So there is usually an ease and a kindness, a graciousness and a sensitivity, and a support that this couple embodies with every hello, every new beginning, and every start. This couple is probably very interesting, very beautiful, kind, well-mannered, and very appealing, very stylish. And I will say that this couple brings both an EQ and an IQ to their partnership, and they become the liaison, the bridge, the diplomat, building compassion and sympathy and connection into different groups of people, different organizations. They are the bridge builders. So this couple will be really other oriented. So they will care about other people in their social circle, other groups, business partners, even other children, other family in their life. And they like to be the bridge between two different things. They create diplomacy around their activities, around their interactions, and they have almost a likability that is just like instant soup. They like to have social connections with other people. They like to problem solve. They like to help people solve their problems. They don't like to create connections that bring a lot of drama, trauma, or negativity or darkness into their life. They kind of try to stay away from the melancholy and they lean a little bit more into the pleasant part of life. They like taking on beautiful, nice, harmonious, fun, enlightening, lighthearted things. They don't like the deep and the heavy, to tell you the truth, unless they have a lot of Scorpio, Pisces, or Cancer in their chart. But they also are probably not going to be immediately offensive. They're going to also be a little bit hard to know because it's hard for them to take off their mask of perfection, their mask of they don't want to look like a fool. This is the couple that everybody likes. This is the highly likable couple. They usually have great connections with a variety of people. And if you can't make the dinner party, they've already got plan B. They've got couple plan B already planned. Your couple plan A, then they've got couple plan B, C, D, E. These people have options. They have a dance card that is full, and they are usually very popular. There's a sense of simpatico with others, with the world, and with themselves. They usually look really, really good together. This is like what Giselle and Tom Brady looked like. I'm not saying they were like that. I think she's a Capricorn and he might be, isn't he a Libra? But I don't know what their composite rising sign is, but they look good together. And so when they divorce or break up, you're like, what the hell happened? What? If you guys can't make it, then how are we ever going to make it? They usually are a little bit idealized, kind of like Leo rising, but there's a little bit more of a quietness to them. Like they might have more of a classic style rather than a flamboyant or regal style. They are ruled by Venus, and so they like creating love and harmony and likability, and they like all things that create sweetness and kindness and thoughtfulness. And so it's fun hanging out with them. And they like to cultivate this in everything that they do. I will say that sometimes they struggle with having a real depth or a trust with others outside of their connection. And so you might walk away feeling like, God, I had a blast, but I still don't know a damn thing about them. And I don't know if they're being real with me or if they're just being nice to me. Like, it's hard to tell. Were they with us because they really wanted to be with us, or they didn't have anybody else, or they're just trying to be nice to us? I don't get it. So you might not feel the depth of their love or connection immediately because they much prefer navigating shallower waters because it's less convoluted, it's less complicated, it's less dramatic, and it is less on their nerves. Do you have a Libra rising in a composite chart with somebody? Who's that person, and can you relate to this? Tell me. They're usually really exceptional at communicating, at driving the activity. Like, hey, we're going to show up at 7. This is what we're going to wear. We're going to bring this dish and a bottle of champagne. And they usually stay in touch up until the activity, and then they kind of get busy with their whole social agenda. So they're really exceptional communicators, but they have a hard time sustaining long term because they've got a lot of options. I will say this is usually a higher energy couple. They're very active and a part of their world. Their social world is usually really big. This is kind of a fun and exciting and loving and pleasant composite rising sign to have, especially if you don't have this natally in your own chart. It's kind of just the sweet spot, if you will. I got this quote from Stephen's work, and he says in his composite book, and I also really believe in crediting your mentors and your teachers, and Stephen Forrest was my teacher for about 5 years, and I really revere his work, and so I like crediting him when I do borrow some of his ideas. And he was a really big influence in the way my mind thinks about astrology. So if you do use somebody's work or words, I really recommend that you credit them. It doesn't take anything away from you. It just allows somebody to put into context where you got your learning from. So I wrote this down and I wanted to read it to you because I thought it was wonderful. I love this quote so much. He said, a big part of the soul intention of this couple, Libra Rising composite couple, revolves around the awareness triggering impact of other people and other couples upon them. They are taking in a lot of data about relationships in general, digesting it and turning it into wisdom in the context of their own bond. Thus, people who serve as bad examples are as useful to them as people who serve as good ones. To that end, Spirit has given them the capacity to have a string quartet over for dinner one night and Hell's Angels over for dinner the next night, and they will actually learn from both. With Libra Rising as your composite ascendant, you do have to be careful which other groups and people you connect and attach to, because they will influence your partnership for good or for bad. Let's keep going and talk about Composite Scorpio Rising. Composite Scorpio Rising leads with a mystique and a mysteriousness, and they have something that we all wish we could have. They have this subtle but volcanic passion that everybody can see and feel. And they usually are really into each other. There is an energy between them that just palpitates. Also, with every hello and every new beginning, there's a bit of aloofness, a stoicism, a standoffishness, a mystique, a mystery about them. You don't know exactly where they stand with you immediately. This is a couple, this is a partnership that will need a long time to get to know who they truly are. But once you get their trust, you will be lifers. So other people want to know them badly and want to open up their hearts and share with them. But you don't always even know why you want to share with them. You don't quite know why because it doesn't feel totally 100% safe, but they make you want to share with them even though they don't totally reciprocate and open up their hearts wide open and share with you. Maybe it's because it seems like they've kind of together have gone through so much. They look a little weathered and worn, cynical, skeptical, hardened, if you will. And so maybe it's because you feel like they've already been around that block. They've already done so much of life that your story isn't going to probably affect them that much. This is a couple that approaches life and approaches doing activities and approaches doing new things with a sense of truthfulness and authenticity. They will not do superficiality. If you're their next door neighbor and you invite them over for wine and they don't like you or they don't feel like they like you, they're not going to say yes. They don't play fake, they don't play superficial, and they don't do false pretenses. They are not the superficial couple. They do only what they want to do. They invest only in what they want to invest. They are not here to make you feel better. Nope. They also have a desire to attach to very few people. And so this couple, this partnership really leaves you wanting more of them. You don't even know why. They're baffling like that. They kind of have a sick wit about them. I think this is a couple that really enjoys the dark parts of life, murder mysteries and true crime and scary movies and the horror movies, and understanding the psychological aspects of life is what they like to enter into. They like to understand the motivations of other people, and they probably have deep karmic wounds from past lives that they have agreed to work on in this lifetime. They are intensely honest. You might not even be able to handle their level of black and white honesty, but they don't mean to be mean. It's just that their shared truth with one another is how they create a bond. And to the degree that they as a couple can be truthful with you is to the degree that they can connect into you. You've got to look at Pluto in the composite chart if this is your composite rising sign. And then also look at Mars. Mars and Pluto are the rulers to Scorpio. And this is where you will see the preoccupation. They are here to heal their wounds collectively. They may wound one another, and then they're here to try to heal those wounds. They are the great healers, and Mars will be the physical wounds that they suffer, and Pluto will be the psychological wounds that they suffer. This is a couple that is very private. They keep to themselves. They're happy to meet people and learn about others, but they don't necessarily want to embrace others and invite them into their home. They're very careful to not reveal too much about themselves. They usually approach life with a little bit of a suspicion, and they don't trust easily. And together they are excellent at gathering and maintaining their resources. And they try to never lose ground with money. Money will be a very big theme in their life. And this is usually a certain kind of power couple. I also want to say thank you for anybody who has joined the channel. And if you have not yet joined the channel, please do, because I do live readings where I actually look at members' charts and I read their chart. I'm doing these once a month here on YouTube, and I absolutely love giving back to my members that way. And you get all kinds of perks, including all of my behind the scenes videos where I go into my teaching techniques at a much deeper level. And I just want to say thank you. It's only $2.99 a month, and it puts 10 cents in my pocket a day. And I couldn't even continue to do this work without your membership. So I just wanted to say thank you. And I hope that everybody who hasn't yet joined will join. Also, I want to say, if you've got this composite Scorpio rising, you should consider purchasing my Scorpio masterclass, because I go so deep into Scorpio and seeing Scorpio through a whole new lens that is not the stereotype of Scorpio. That masterclass, it's in my shop. That will be in the description. It is just mind-blowing. You will love it. It's really worth it. Let's talk about composite Sagittarius Rising. This is the welcoming couple that really starts every first impression, new beginning, new start with a big, giant, happy energy about them. They love people. They love exploring new friendships. And they especially like friendships that bring an intellectual value to the table, because they love big, broad ideas. This is the couple that will come over and look at your travel slideshow when nobody else will. They're very, very approachable. This and Gemini Rising might be the most approachable couple. And they feel to you, they will feel like they're taking a sincere and very big, enthusiastic interest in you. You can feel really seen and heard with Sagittarius Rising couple. They have a lot of friends and a lot of variety of social circles going here, there, and everywhere. They don't get heavily involved or into your heavy aspects of life. They kind of bounce in and bounce out, and they're not the most reliable couple, but it's like when you see them, you fall in love. And then, I don't know, they're off or they're quiet. They're off doing their own adventures, their own other social circles. They're going a million miles an hour. And their life is big and probably important and fabulous and juicy. And it's got a lot of juicy fruit in it. But you're certainly not going to feel like you're their everything. But you might be. They just might not make you feel that way because they have a really busy schedule. It's kind of like Gemini Rising. I will tell you that this couple together is trying to figure out the meaning of life, the meaning of you in their life, the meaning of their life, and the meaning of all of life. And they're on a journey to figure that out. So they don't want to come over just to have wine for wine's sake. They want to have a shared belief system or discover a philosophy about you, or talk about the bigger issues, the bigger dreams and goals and hopes and wishes and life and politics and everything, the bigger issues of life. This couple is going to wrestle with those big holy grail questions. And they're going to be great storytellers. They're going to be enveloping you with just magnificent, optimistic, intriguing adventure. This is probably one of your more exciting couples to hang out with. And if this is you, probably inside your partnership are really open to new adventures and new explorations and taking bigger risks than you would alone. And I'll tell you that you probably are going to spend your life savings, before you die, leaving everybody nothing unless you have something else really prominent in your composite chart. So don't count on these people to leave you a giant inheritance unless they just have so much money they couldn't blow through it all, because they want to spend it on living life out to the fullest. They want to spend it on gathering big, giant, glorious, gargantuan experiences to learn from. They want to visit exotic lands so they can see and learn and taste different perspectives and grow from these different perspectives. This is also a couple that leads with intuition and good instincts. They're not necessarily the most pragmatic, but they are overflowing with joy and idealization and even optimism. And they can travel the continent in a VW bus and be just happy, or go on a cruise and just love it. They're never going to be too stifling. They're not going to place a lot of responsibilities on other people. They operate actually mostly on faith. Like, hey, things will fall into place as they should, and don't sweat the small stuff. They are a risk-taking couple that believes that they will truly land on their feet like a cat. And wherever Jupiter is in the chart, Jupiter is their North Star. Let's talk about Capricorn Rising. Together, this couple has a very powerful presence that demands sort of a respect. There is an attentiveness to Capricorn Rising. They do everything with great intention, and there is a seriousness about this couple. And they reflect sort of a solid, smart, pragmatic, no nonsense determination in their approach. I will say they are not the most approachable couple. This is the couple that will really be there for you in a great time of need. And they usually cultivate and develop resources like money or a business together. They enjoy a nice material world that is fruitful. Now, if you're Capricorn Rising as a couple and you haven't, reached the good life yet, I bet you there is an ambition to have nice things or fine things, or the few things you do have, they are really nice. So I have a Capricorn Rising brother in my life, and he didn't have a lot of things, but he did have fabulous shoes, incredible shirts, a beautiful car, the perfect cologne, the best haircut, and a really nice watch. And that's about all he had as far as material gifts. He really didn't have a lot of money when he was living here with us, but what he did have, he had a lot of pride in it. So if you are Capricorn Rising, you probably will relate to this too. But oftentimes this couple gets a lot of responsibility on their shoulders, and they feel that there is a sense of a bigger calling or a bigger mission than just being together. This is the couple that other people really rely on or depend on. They also can play the role of the responsible, wise, mature, steady one inside their community or family or social circles, the one that everyone can count on. If they say they're coming, they most likely are. And oftentimes this couple is faced with dilemmas, with problems that require their time, their effort, their money, their attention, and they feel a great sense of responsibility and even pride. Even there's a calling, a mission in helping others or in their sense of responsibility for others. They oftentimes are caretakers for other people in a very practical and pragmatic way. There is a grounded wisdom that radiates from this couple. Like they really might be the couple that you turn to because they're so solid in themselves. They're so steady. They have built something that has been lasting, and you turn to them for great advice or wisdom. They want to create meaningful lives that are filled with valuable qualities. They want to be of value. And sometimes this is just knowledge. Sometimes this is money, and sometimes this is wisdom, and sometimes this is experience. They usually are a soft place for others to land because they have their shit together, usually. And if you don't, I bet you that is a goal of yours, to create long-lasting security and value. Oftentimes, this is a couple that takes care of their family or their business or their pets or whoever they are in charge of. They probably are the support system. There's a really big opportunity here for this couple to grow old together. They don't usually look for the easy way out. They are the mountain goats, so they do like to climb those challenges. They do not have a fear of commitment. They actually want to be inside a partnership where they can grow old together and swing on the swing together after they've been married for 60 years and meet their grandchildren and grandchildren. They can live a long life because there is a conscientiousness about them. They don't want to abuse their lives usually, and they're very resourceful. They are not looking for the free handout or the easy way out. They actually prefer a challenge. They don't mind the black diamond difficult ski runs, if you will. And this is what keeps them solid in each other, because they like to grow themselves together by approaching challenges together in a pragmatic, practical, smart way. And if they do have children together, their children will probably become their greatest work because they want to build some sort of meaningful thing, whether it's knowledge or a business or money or resources that they can pass down to their family. If this is you, you probably are a couple that likes building wealth and security, building an empire that is sturdy, stable, and pragmatic for yourself, but not just for yourself, for your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren and your great-great-grandchildren and your great-great-great-great-grandchildren. You get the point. So let's talk about composite Aquarius Rising. I would say Aquarius Rising makes friends very easily, and they also approach every situation in sort of a unique or different way. They like having eclectic, eccentric, different kinds of friends. They probably are really attracted to friends from all around every niche of society. There is sort of a global understanding, a global desire. They want to know people that are different than them. They like exploring differences. They like being different. They're going to approach problems differently. They're going to approach their relationship in a unique, non-traditional way. They don't mind being out of synchronicity with the whole rest of the neighborhood. Their house might be yellow and everybody else's house might be brown. They don't care. They might have the eccentric front yard. They don't care. They actually like it. You're going to see right when they show up that these people walk to a really different beat. They might even look like a little bit of a misfit couple, or the creative couple, or the unique couple, or the eccentric couple, or the couple that is just really, really different. They might also feel like the unique, cool ones, right? Like the rest of us are just so boring and vanilla and so cookie cutter. Oftentimes they have a little bit more of advanced thinking than us. Like they are literally down a rabbit hole, 12 feet deep of things that we thought of, but we didn't go down that rabbit hole quite as deeply. And that might be about futuristic trends, AI, the cosmos, aliens. That might be about spaceships living on Mars, and so they're usually really interesting conversationalists, and they usually have really, really, really big fixed ideas on outlandish things. I always am learning something new from my Aquarius Rising and my strong Aquarian friends. And so as a couple, they're usually socially aware, socially advanced. They're usually like a trendsetter in some way, pushing for more radical or modern ideas than the whole rest of the friend group. They're the ones that are going around the room saying, what pronoun do you go by? Where, you didn't think to do that. They're the nonconformists, and they are helping us prepare for the future. They're helping each other also become more futuristic. The way in which they talk, think, or express themselves can really advance our old-fashioned thinking, or the way we're used to talking. Our habitual patterns can be broken with this couple. So if you're in this relationship, you probably feel that you can kind of take your mask off a little bit and just be so in your own eccentricities, and you're really accepted by your partnership. And you might even feel like individually you have to look perfect, but inside this relationship, you can have no makeup. No, you don't have to do your hair. Heck, you don't even have to take a shower if you don't want to. You get to be uniquely you and accepted for who you are. And the face that you wear might become more unique, more bravely unique inside this partnership. So this is not going to be the stereotypical relationship. And so they really have to get over what other people think of them or the comments other people make about their relationship. Maybe there is something really unique about this relationship. Maybe they decide they want to be in a polyamorous relationship and they live in a very conservative place. Those are the kinds of lessons that are going to come up where they have to learn how to be boldly unafraid to move on from more traditional beliefs that will be most certainly surrounding them. And you need to look at the planet Uranus to really understand how this is going to play out. And if Uranus is in the 11th house in their composite chart, this is going to be like a wild couple, breaking taboos and really taking on big social risks. This is the couple that wants to liberate the other couples that are sort of stuck in tradition or stuck around what will my family say. So these are really the mavericks. Okay, if you're still hanging with me, thank you. And I hope that you're learning so much. And I want to invite you to go over to Shop Soul Navigation and check out all of my composite options. We've got composite tri-wheels, bi-wheels, the composite package. We have the composite lovers chart. We just have your regular composite chart, and we have a composite report that you can buy, and they are so, so good. And they will help you figure out where all of your composite planets are. So it's really important that you understand your composite chart and at the very least your sun and moon. And if you know your birth times, you'll get to know your rising sign and how you approach life and how your relationship is seen or perceived by other couples, by other people. The composite Pisces Rising couple is the mystical couple, the couple that can sort of transcend commercial life, big box commercial cookie cutter life. And they have a certain aura or energy that vibrates around them that is very, very sensitive. And there is a deeply intuitive bond. They lead with intuition. And there is something very spiritual and deeply connected. This is maybe a couple that suffers a little bit from codependency or over enmeshment, but they're sort of inseparable. And whenever you invite one, the other has to come, right? So there's not always a lot of autonomy with this rising sign. There is a spiritual connection, and their lives are steeped in psychic connection, spiritual connection, divine connection, intuitive connection, clairvoyance. I can read your mind. I know you so well that I can read the little tweak that you made. I know what that means. It's like there is an uncanny knowing between these two that look just magical that other people are envious of. There's also a creative and musical element to this partnership, and music or dance or art might be a big part of their relationship. I would also say that there's sort of an angelic beauty and a magical quality, but these people can truly lose themselves or drown themselves in escapism, in the fairy tale of life, life in the dream world, right? Drugs and alcohol can plague this relationship if they're not careful because there are no boundaries and they see the infinite possibilities that are very difficult to actually actualize. So it's hard for them to take their dreams and all their energy and concretize them and put them into the material world. They can do it, especially if they have a lot of earth energy in their chart. But if they don't, they're very alluring and very dreamlike, but it is difficult to get them to show up on time. They might even say yes to your wedding and no show. They overslept and, oh, my bad. I'm sorry I didn't make it to your wedding. Yeah, I thought I was going to make it there. Yeah, I didn't. I'm sorry. Right? And they even rented the tuxedo or whatever. They bought the dress and they no-showed. And it's like they're in their own world. So there's a vulnerability that you see with this couple that creates this sweetness, but you can ache for them. Like they might not have all of life solidly on their terms, but yet there's a happiness and a connectedness, and they can easily connect into each other's misery, losses, and sadness. And if you have this as your composite rising, I would say that you also sort of approach life as poetry, living out the wounds of life in a way that is poignant, transcendent, and meaningful. This can be the yoga couple, and this can be the couple that just goes on retreat. These people are very private in one way and super open in another way. So they might be the life of the party and super open, but there is a deep privacy about them too, where they really take sanctuary and solitude in one another. They can be the spiritual wise teachers if they're super evolved, and they can actually lead the way to new energy, bringing new energy to every new project, every hello. They usually have this warm heart where you feel enveloped in love, in compassion, in kindness. This is the couple that will go and help a person who's, on the side of the road and needs a tire changed, or a lady in the parking lot who can't get her car started. These are people that will come to the rescue in the right place and time if they have enough juice in their system, because they really genuinely care about other people and they care about helping other people who are underserved, underprivileged, under dogs. They don't necessarily run on high octane juice or high anxiety. If anything, they're probably slow to get started, and they really, really cherish their alone time. They recharge their batteries together. There is an obvious soul contract between these two people, and others can sense it and see it loudly. There's a nimbleness, a make it up as we go. Let's don't plan ahead. Let's don't, kill the vacation by having it all scheduled out. Let's just wander through the streets and see where they take us. There's a deep faith in something miraculous will be around the corner. This is the couple that believes in miracles. They could live in other worlds and they could blend into the fabrics of different cultures, and even cultures that they don't understand or have never seen. They could literally chameleon into the folds of that society and blend in. They can be the total chameleon couple, like, oh my God, I thought I knew you and I had no idea. They can be elusive with one another as well, which can create vulnerability and insecurity. You really need to understand Neptune in the composite chart to understand this relationship. It is as beautiful can be, and it can also be quite dangerous and ugly too. It can be deceptive and it can be euphoric. It can be extraordinarily painful because this couple has such high sensitivity. They can be a bit scattered, unorganized, flake on you, no show, and they like loose plans. They don't like you to strangle them. They don't even know if they're getting up at noon. But there is a lot of compassion. They are very unassuming. There is a humble quality. There is a wisdom that you will see inside of them, and you will want more of them than what they probably give you. They are always open to new suggestions, trying out new places, trying on new things. They don't necessarily like to do the routine. They don't necessarily live by a routine. That gets kind of boring, and they like life to be unpredictable, spontaneous, and fluid. So those are my rising signs for the composite chart. I hope so much that this has helped you understand your own rising sign. I do have a long form video for every single rising sign that I hope you will go and watch, because I go way, way, way deep into it. But this was a long, juicy video. I hope you like this composite series. And gosh, I have so many things to say. One, I want to say that my workshop in Seattle, my workshop and my retreat is totally sold out. And I will be having another workshop in Barcelona. Only 30 people can come to my Barcelona workshop, but it is going to be amazing. Mark it on your calendar. Tickets are going to go on sale on May 21st, 2024. I only have 30 available, and it's going to take place in Barcelona, Spain, at the most adorable workshop place in the old town in the Gothic Quarter. And it is going to happen between Thursday, October 10th through Sunday, October 13th. It is going to be so deep and so exciting and so fun. That workshop and retreat is a little bit smaller. As I said, I only have space for 30 people. I hope you're one of the 30, and tickets are going to go on sale again on May 21st. So I cannot wait. Also, I want you guys to check out all my master classes, because if you listen to this video through the end, it means you're really into astrology, you're really into learning, and I am building my library. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm going to soon have my Nodes Masterclass available in my library as well, and you can go check out those really long and in-depth classes that I teach. And I have last year's Spain workshop in there as well. I think you will love it, and I just absolutely love sharing astrology with you. Please like and subscribe, leave me a comment, and become a member. And just know that wherever you are in the world, from my house to yours, I send you all the love in the world and big fat blessings for you. You take really good care. Until next time, bye for now.